What is going on, everybody? What is going on? I'm so glad that you were able to tune in tonight. We've got some incredibly awesome value that we hope to share with you. And man, oh man, what a journey it's been over the last 22 years. Actually, it's longer than that. It's 23 years of being in the asphalt maintenance industry. I was very, very young when I first started in the industry. I was actually 18 years old. No experience whatsoever, had never really raked asphalt, had never seal coated, never done any crack repair, but I'm about to take you on a journey that hopefully will resonate with you and hopefully inspire you to build your very own asphalt maintenance business. And if it's not asphalt maintenance business, hopefully you push towards developing a business that provides you with the freedom and the actual dreams that will become a reality for you. I'm sitting here looking at an old photo album, and I'm just, it's such a time warp. It's like I'm Michael J. Fox going back in time for a second. But take a look at this photo. This is myself and one of my guys that ran one of our trucks. It's a 2-ton hot box on the back, and look at the other trucks. This was the very first company that I built, and it was Imperial Asphalt Maintenance. Let's go back in time to when I first started, and I'm super excited to bring you through this journey and hopefully, again, inspire you to build your very own company. We've got some great guests that are on who are not just customers of ours, but they've become good friends too. And I'm really excited for them to come on live with us to help answer any questions and hopefully give you some real meat around what it was like to start their own business and start to build and scale it. We've got Johnny Bublich from Wyoming Asphalt Repair tonight, and we've also got Rob McKenzie, who is Black Max Sealcoating. So I'm really excited to have them on. But first, before we go through to connect with them, let me lay out basically the way that things have unfolded for me. I started my seal coating business in 1999. And I built it from the ground up. I literally started with 5-gallon pails and sealer brushes and went door to door knocking on doors. I remember what it was like to knock on that very first door, and the gentleman answered. And I was like, "Hi, my name is Judd Burden, and I'm in your area. I'm seal coating driveways. I'm doing driveways for $250. It's a 4-car driveway. I've got my sealer in the car and my sealer brush. It's going to take me about 2 hours to do the job." And he said yes. And I remember what that feeling was to get that first sale for my very own business that I was developing. And it was, the dopamine rush and this feeling of, man, oh man, I'm building my very first business. The amount of pride and the amount of energy that I felt out of that was extraordinary. And for any of you who've started your own business or who have built a business in the past, you know what that's like to get your very first sale and how great that feels. Well, I grew that company very quickly. Of course, I just showed you a photo there. I mean, we grew that company extremely fast. 5 years later, in 2004, I sold Imperial Asphalt Maintenance, and I actually moved to the Caribbean. We ended up with 8 trucks on the road. We had like 36 employees. We were rocking and rolling, door-to-door sales. We were doing McDonald's parking lots, commercial plazas. We went from doing $250 jobs to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 jobs. And it happened very, very quickly because there's so much demand in this industry. Asphalt is everywhere, and it 100% needs to be maintained to keep it safe and looking great. So when I sold the company, I ended up moving to the Caribbean because I really wanted to. I've always dreamed of living down under coconut trees and by the beach, and really wanted to go on a mission of helping people. I found my purpose, and I really wanted to help people create greatness in their life. I wanted to help inspire and motivate and help them feel unstoppable. And that's what I've been on a mission literally for the last 16, 17 years. And so I built Asphalt Kingdom back in 2004, asphaltkingdom.com, and we started putting out content on the website about how to maintain driveways and parking lots. And it didn't take long for people to start connecting with us and asking questions about how to do door-to-door sales and how to build their company, what the right equipment would be to use, and what templates and tools and different things they needed to build their very own business, just like I had. And so I built the website connecting with people all over the globe, primarily the USA and Canada. And I hail from Montreal, Canada, but traveled all over the world. But people started connecting with us, and I started sharing my knowledge with all of these people that were connecting. And since then, from 2004 until now more so than ever, there's this huge movement of pay it forward and being a lighthouse. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here with you right now, is because I don't want you to just decide to build a business and then be on your own in the fog and try to figure all of this stuff out. It's really something that's important to me, and it's important to our whole team, that you're getting really everything that you need to build, manage, grow, and scale your own company. We really, really are passionate about that. And with that, we've built systems and tools to do that. So, we all know that starting your very own business will truly help you achieve the freedom and the financial success that you need to create a better life for yourself. The question becomes, what is that? And the other thing is that there's a major problem with that too, is that starting your own business can be, the chance of failure can be very, very high. It really can. You don't want to do this on your own. You don't want to be alone in the dark trying to figure the ropes out and trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong, what's the right strategy to do a presentation door to door, what's the difference between a sale that's a residential sale versus a commercial sale, where should my pricing be, what is my cost of goods, truly understanding the profit analysis of your company, setting goals. All these different things can be really overwhelming, so the chance of failure is high. Luckily, I have been there. I've gone through it. I've gone through big, steep learning curves. Asphalt Kingdom is one of our companies. I own several companies, but through this entrepreneurial journey of entrepreneurship, I've learned the ins and outs of truly being able to build thriving and successful businesses. And we've got a lot of clients that have built successful asphalt maintenance companies that we've worked with. And that's what we're hoping to do with you as well. You'll have everything that you need to truly succeed when you're with Asphalt Kingdom. Of course, you need the dedication and the passion and the drive to do that. You can't just sit still and hope that things are going to happen by magic. But I want you to understand that I'm really no different than you. I'm really no different than you. The only difference is that I've spent the last 4 decades, literally the last 4 decades of my life, going through developing businesses from the time I was a little boy all the way to the time I am now sitting here at 42 years old. I'm literally in a position now where I've got the business packages, I've got the training, the systems, the tools, the people, the teams behind Asphalt Kingdom and within Asphalt Kingdom, as well as a network of successful customers that are constantly paying it forward. And this is all going to allow you to succeed fast, and the chance of success is much higher. There are a bunch of hacks that I've helped thousands of other people globally with to be able to build their own success, which will make it inevitable, really, if you actually follow through with it. So I asked you, like, if you had a step-by-step plan that you needed to launch and scale your business, if you had that, if you had exactly the equipment and the materials that you need to break even on your very first order and then to reinvest in your business, and if you had the marketing and the sales strategies that sets you apart from the competition, what would that be like for you? Think about that. And I'll tell you everything in just a minute about all of this stuff. But first, I need to explain truly why this business works so well and why you can succeed with this. You see, most contractors in the asphalt industry, they don't understand truly what it takes to achieve their goals. They really don't understand the depth of that. They go into business blind and wonder why they're not successful. They wait for calls and they sit there and they're standing still. They don't really understand the framework and what's needed to achieve true success. And that's hopefully, there's good reason why they should connect with us so that we can help them with that. But a lot of people don't search Google and do what you're doing right now, which is sit in on a webinar like this to listen and to gain perspective. And so you're here right now and you're willing to learn, and that's the difference. Most people really aren't here. And so you're already ahead of most people, straight up. Okay, you're way ahead. I want to break this down into 3 simple phases for you so that this can be palatable and manageable for you. The first phase is understanding the numbers in your business. If you want to make, let's say, a couple $100,000 and you're doing $250 jobs like driveways, it's going to take you a heck of a long time to be able to achieve that goal. It's going to take 800 driveways. And the reality of it is you're not going to be able to physically do 800 driveways in a season. So what we want to do is we want to help you design a realistic growth plan and then make sure that you have the GPS coordinates that are set to keep you on course. And that way you're not going to be in the fog trying to figure out what it is that you need to be doing from an average job value in order to hit your goals. You need that clarity in your business, no matter what business you're in. When that goal is set, you need to understand the true framework so that it's all one step at a time from there on in. You follow the plan, you execute on it, and you'll succeed. Phase 2, you need to get the right equipment for the job. There are hundreds of products out there on the marketplace. I'm sure you've already been out researching. We definitely in-house here know which ones you need to start, no matter what budget you're working with. Okay, you can start with a 5-gallon bucket just like I did and a sealer brush. Or you could get ahead and be successful more quickly by investing into, let's say, a 230-gallon spray system. And you might, for people who have bigger budgets in that $20,000 to $30,000 range, you can get into getting big air operated units and you can start that way. But the bottom line is you're not going to waste money on things that you don't need when you're with us. You're going to work with the things that you truly need to get the job done right. And you're going to use our experience that will get you exactly what you need to get started to scale your company and grow it effectively. Somebody who starts with a bucket will not work with a bucket from here on in. You're going to have an evolution of your growth in your business, and we're committed to working with you to do that. Phase 3 is putting fuel on the fire with your marketing and your sales program that you're going to have in your business. You see, when you're building your company, as you may have seen from a lot of our YouTube videos, we're really, really expressive in the way that we want you to have a digital footprint that's extremely powerful. Many of you may have seen that branding video that I had done with Alex Lucic, with that interview with Alex Lucic from Black and Yellow Pavement. You're going to be hundreds of times more visible than your competition. And so you're going to get exponentially more business from that. We're going to work with you on making sure you're multi-channel present and that you're generating leads from that content that you're outputting. We have videos, we have blogs in-house, we have step-by-step plans on how your company will literally become successful in the digital marketplace so that you're generating the leads that's needed. Now, once the leads are in the door, it's time to close those sales. And then you're going to be on your way to collecting the money and feel what I felt that day when I did my very first job. That's something so special. So to summarize the 3 phases, phase 1, you're going to uncover your goals and then work backwards to create the plan to success. Phase 2, you're going to understand what you need to start out strong and break even on your first order and scale from there with your reinvestments. And phase 3, you're going to create the marketing presence you need to dominate your competition and lay out the foundation for success. Our company is going to help you with all of this, and we are here for you each step of the way. In addition, as part of working with our company, you get access to all the resources, all the tools, 3 hours of video content as it relates to the Build Your Own Business Blueprint content that we have on YouTube. And if you go through the YouTube playlists, you're going to see so much information, so many interviews of people who have been there, done that, and are growing their business. And you can take advantage of that. This community, this fraternity, this brotherhood, this team becomes your asphalt kingdom. And that's the purpose today of why I'm here, is to help you feel as though you're not alone and to help you feel that you're unstoppable if you actually make that first step. It's truly the hardest step. And there's no better time right now with this business. It's recession resistant, it's pandemic resistant. I know I say it all the time on social media and out there in interviews. I'm saying it, there's no better time to get started. It's January 20th right now, 2022. It's going to be March before we know it. So you want to make sure to get all your ducks in a row right now and make sure that you're setting up for a spring, a power pack spring. Whether you're starting the business for the first time or you're scaling your existing business, there's no better time right now than to connect with the circles that do exist in the social media world. And through our company, we're always here to make sure that you have everything that you need and that you have enough time to plan this out, to learn what you need to learn and to execute. And frankly, at this point, your future is right in your hands, and it's really up to you as to what that future is going to unfold like. I figured that it would be really good, as I said in the beginning here, that it would be great to have some guests on and to hear it firsthand from a couple of customers that I really respect and I've built such great relationships with. They've built successful asphalt maintenance companies. I also was on the phone earlier today with Lance Phillips and chatting through Facebook Messenger. Lance Phillips, Precision Striping and Asphalt. The guy has built the hell out of a company. He started with a Powerliner 850 striping machine, and he's got a warehouse filled with pavers. He's got tankers, bulk tanks. He's just got a whole lineup of equipment. He's growing the hell out of his business. I believe it's his fifth year in business, and he's just crushing it, doing Walmarts and FedExes and just crushing it. But he's up on a hunting trip, so he couldn't join us today. But I do have two incredible humans that are going to be on. I do want to welcome Johnny Bublich of Wyoming Asphalt Repair to the show tonight. I'm so excited to welcome him. He is with us. Johnny, what is up, my man?
Judd, how's it going, buddy?
What is up, brother? You've been hunting too lately.
Yeah, we just got wrapped up with cat season. Now I'm just kind of in my downtime where I'm just not really doing anything. It's kind of nice. Been avoiding the cold. It's so cold outside. It's like in the single digits lately. Like I'm over that.
So you got all cleaned up too, man. I usually roll a little scruffy too. You don't have any scruff on tonight.
Well, no, it's during lion season, and I get rid of it. When I'm guiding lion hunters, that's the tip getter. When you got a good beard. And so as soon as lion season's over, my wife wants me to shave it.
My wife asked the same thing. Guys, everybody, Johnny is the president, founder of Wyoming Asphalt Repair. Started just, I think it's less than a year ago. And
yeah, I believe last February is when we did it.
Man, tell us a little bit about why you decided to start in the business. I know that we did another webinar previously, but can you share why you started in the business and what really pushed you to take the first step?
Well, I did when I was 20 years old. I decided I was going to dedicate my entire life to the oil field, and so I did, and I saved a pretty good amount of money, and I stayed in for 13 years. But then, like when the pandemic and all that hit, and we all kind of got shut down collectively together, I decided it was time I wanted to start my own thing. And I didn't even happen to know what kind of business I was going to start. And then after a long time of thinking about it, a couple months, I mean, it doesn't seem that long probably in perspective. I've thought about it real hard for a couple months, and I came up with asphalt repair. A buddy of mine suggested that I look into it, and he had never even done it before. He just had the idea, and I started looking into it, and I came across Asphalt Kingdom, and just kind of all kept steamrolling from there.
Man, I remember in the last interview you were at your son's baseball game, I believe.
Yeah. It was and of all in the time I spent in the oil field, I worked away from home a lot of it, so I missed a lot of the cool stuff with my kids growing up. But now I get to kind of set my own schedule, and make it to those things.
What really helped you to be successful as you were growing? Like last spring, you had a bunch of jobs, you did some pothole repair, and then you started to scale into bigger jobs and so on. What really what really helped you to be successful? Like, was it, just getting out there and doing it? Was there marketing? Was it word of mouth? Can you tell us about that, a little bit about that?
Well, I started with a pretty decent situation. So when I first started, I hired a website designer right away, and he got me up on Google. So I was getting a lot of phone calls from Google, and then right off the hop, I bought a billboard downtown in Main Street, and then I'm pretty active on social media, so, and I understand that pretty well. So I really attacked the social media and did a lot of paid advertising, and then I just started going door to door um, on big driveways that needed seal coating and places like your Napa and about Crackville and Walmart. I just started hitting people up door to door, and collectively through word of mouth, I got a good friend who's got a business right on Main Street, and I made the offer to him. I said, hey, how about you pay for materials and I'll get the job done, but you let me advertise all summer with a big sign on your property. And he's like, done. Well, he's my buddy, so I got to hook him up, and he hooked me up with advertising. And so really just getting the word out there collectively all together just really did a number on my phone. It just rang nonstop all summer. I wasn't prepared for that necessarily.
So like a challenge was that you actually were unable to handle the number of leads that were coming in to your phone and the amount of workflow that was coming in.
Oh, absolutely. My immediate problem became, what would it be, manpower, um, because there was so much opportunity out there, and jobs that I can do with just having some bodies. Um, and I found a couple good guys to work for me, and then once I found a couple guys to work for me, then it really picked up. But I mean, I could only do so much, by myself.
Right, right. And so like let's say with that being said, what advice would you give somebody then who's just starting out right like fresh this year? They're starting out, let's say in March, and they're getting going. What would be the best piece of advice you could give somebody?
Oh my gosh. You
Yeah,
asked me that once before, and I didn't know what to say. Like, how much time do you got? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
holy cow, you learn so much. But like the biggest piece of advice, I guess, honestly, is just not too cliche, but just like hold it together and just stick to just keep grinding, because like it gets tiring, and it's like it's not making money. Like, these businesses aren't failing because they're not making money. It's because they're not managing it. So it's like it costs me a little bit, but like I have an enrolled agent who handles my important stuff, and I have an accountant who handles my important stuff, and it's like having the support needed and not trying to overwhelm yourself, because it's like I'm also the talent. And so like when we're seal coating a job, it's like I have
Yeah.
these seal coating it, but at the same time my phone's ringing and people are trying to book, and there's bills due, and there's checks deposit. And so it's like having my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and so she really helps out with depositing checks and making sure that things that she can do, get done. But it gets big fast, and that's what I wanted, was to get big fast. That's why I attacked online and billboard and really push the advertising. But like, have a plan, be organized.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the demand is there. It's, asphalt is everywhere, and I'm in full agreement, man. Like keeping things together is key. A lot of people end up trying to do everything on their own because they're concerned about what the terminology spend or cost is versus invest. And one of the things, you speak
Hmm.
about an accountant or an office administrator or a virtual assistant, somebody that can actually help to manage the flow and the things that might not need to be micromanaged by you to, in your head, save $1, but instead actually see it as an investment so that you might be able to spend more time quoting jobs out that have a higher job value that will get you to obviously making more money, and maybe spending some time on what your cost analysis is with your accountants. And really, a lot of people take a lot of, they speak a lot about revenue. Oh, I made $1 million this year. And it's like, okay, well, what was your bottom line? And, oh, I don't know. And, it's what money have you actually made for your business? What is the bottom line? And are your staff, are your team members paid well so that they come and are excited to be at work and are a part of a culture and that kind of stuff? So I think you're bang on, man, is really making sure you're investing into key people in key positions to allow you to focus on your superpowers. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and you're the salesman, right? And so you gotta have a sales strategy, and and we're in the asphalt maintenance business, right? So we all have Google Maps. You can cruise over the city from a long ways up, and you can find the big chunks of asphalt pretty easy in the city, and then you can find out where to go, who to talk to. Finding asphalt to work on is not going to be hard. You might get into some bidding wars, or you might have to do things a little, but you'll never not be busy. There's always work, and there's real good, great paying jobs, and then there's your slow days where you can do those low paying jobs, but you can always make money. It's the managing it that's very important.
Question for you. Like, when you leave home and you leave home clean and you come back dirty, how does that feel good for you?
Yeah, I've always loved that. So, my whole time in the oil field, I've always been dirty. I've always been a hard hat, coverall, steel toes, gloves, working with the roughest guys around and just loving it, working outside all winter. I'm really glad I don't have to work outside in the winter. I'm not gonna lie. 13 years of that was enough for me. I'm done. But but like when I call it my John Sealcoat is my alter ego. And so when I put my yellow company shirt on and my yellow Sealcoat glasses, it's like that's like my costume, that's Johnny Sealcoat. So go out, that's our money making outfit.
I love that, man. What's in store for Wyoming Asphalt Repair in 2022?
Oh man, so my biggest thing this year was, like I said, was personnel. And I kind of bounced around, but I found a guy that's gonna run my painting division. And so Wyoming Asphalt Repair is really attacking the line striping, and we are winning. And get a good website, guys. All I gotta really say about that, because that's the only thing I did for that. But I got upgraded to I have my Titan still that I actually got with my pack with you, and we do all the curbs and whatnot with that. And then we got a Graco. We upgraded with our paint sprayer, and I got a guy coming in to do all my line striping. That's gonna work for me. And so I'm gonna run the crack filling and seal coating, and then he'll run the line striping. And that's the biggest addition, is I have a full-time line striper now.
Would you be willing to share what your revenue goal is for 2022?
Well, it was lower actually. So my original goal was 250 for next year. And then I got together with a guy who's gonna line stripe for me, and he told me that wasn't a big enough goal. And so I said, well, fine. This is, so what do you want the goal to be? And he said $500,000. And I was like, oh man, all right. So that's like full send then, like that's the goal, is $500,000 is this year. So I was just gonna be comfortable, because it's like I'm already like, in my first year I did 156,000 at the end of the year. And I was unorganized and understaffed and building, like I got my logo, and I was in the middle of really just trying to brand myself while doing it by myself. And now I have help, and yeah, so we're going for $500,000. on year 2.
I am so stoked, man. Can you keep me posted on that too, man? And anything at all I can help with, I'm here for you, man.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be calling you. You know, when I get all excited when I land like a big job and I just call you
Yeah,
out of the blue,
yeah.
just kind of in
It's
shock of things.
it's awesome, man. Dude, I'm so happy for you and your family. I'm super excited, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. I know it's not easy for people to necessarily just come out and do what you're doing, and I know that people are really appreciative of it. I see Wallace Wimmer that's saying can't hide that oil field money. Johnny is a very impressive young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 if you ever get a chance before you ever get it takes a little money and it takes a little knowledge to run your own business, but oil field is definitely a place to go and find some of that money and some of that responsibility. But
for sure,
owning your own
for sure.
business is the best way to go for sure.
By the way, Johnny Bublich is well, like a mixed martial artist as well. Promotion of you're picking some cards and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm done fighting. I've fought professionally 61 times, and I'm done with that. But I still do ringside announcing, matchmaking, and I work for a buddy who owns a promotion, and so I help him put that together. I got my hands in everything. I just like to be busy.
It's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being here, Johnny. We appreciate it, man. If you want to stick around, we've got a Q&A at the end. I know you might want to go spend time with the fam, but if you want to hang out for a Q&A, I know people would appreciate it. And I'm about to bring Rob McKenzie on of Black Max Seal Coating, man.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. We'll talk again.
I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, buddy. We'll see ya.
See ya. Wow. Wow. What an incredible human. I mean, every time I chat with Johnny, I'm just so excited to chat with him. And James Martin, thank you so much. Guys, I know there's so many questions, there, and thank you for all the compliments and for the sharing and for the paying it forward. It's really, really special. All the questions, we'll do our very best to get to them at the end of this Q&A with the Q&A. For now, let's bring on Rob McKenzie. I've got some great questions. He's a great buddy of mine too. Rob McKenzie, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, buddy?
Hey, it's going so well, man. Isn't
Johnny,
Johnny a cool?
Johnny's got a great story.
Such an incredible story. But I mean, you have an incredible story too, and I want people to hear it, man. I really want them to hear it. First off, I don't only, I don't say this about every single one of our customers because I haven't had a chance, but I mean, you and I have developed a pretty cool relationship where we've spent time, we send photos of family and things that are going on in our life. And that to me is so special. To be able to actually do that is it means that the purpose, the mission that I'm on is actually, it's coming true. And so I just want you to know how much I respect you, how much I appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time out of your personal life to share with everybody here, man. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the reason or how you really came about coming up with Black Max Seal Coating and why did you start in this business?
Well, first, I mean, I got to say that you've had a huge effect on me in terms of moving me forward and where I've gotten to just at this short period of time, right? So I thank you for that. Absolutely. So I've been a teacher for 28 years. I've loved it. The same school for 28 years, same drive. I've coached. I've taken kids on trips all over the world, for the last 12, 14, 15 years. Coach my kids' stuff at the same time. I've always been in front of people. I've always loved being in front of people, talking to people. I feel comfortable, being in front of people that way. And how I got into it was really just, it was total whim. I wasn't even thinking. I wasn't even thinking of this industry. I didn't even know anything about it. I didn't even thought about it. And I was at my rental property. I wanted to do my driveway because it was looking a little grubby and a little bit dirty. And I thought, okay, well, I'll go to Canadian Tire and I'll get a bucket of that stuff. And I don't want to roll it though. I want to get something that, so I found a squeegee. It's like 2 foot, a 24-inch squeegee. So I got a squeegee and I started going back and forth. And I thought, wow, this is pretty satisfying. There's something about, keeping those edges clean and being neat and going back and forth and seeing the difference in it. Right. And sometimes I finished and honest to God, this lady 2 doors down came by and she goes, wow, like, how much do you mind? And like, I was blown away. It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking through my head, like, how much? I said, $150. And she said, wow, that's cheap. And it was a postage stamp, little townhouse, little driveway. I said, you're going to pay me $150 to do that little driveway that'll take me 20 minutes to do? I said, I'm in. And like, it was like one of those aha moments. It really was.
Yeah.
It was an aha moment. And, I was getting a little bit closer. I can retire next year if I want to. And so I was getting a little closer. Well, what are you going to do? What do you do when you retire? I don't know. I'm not going to sit. And COVID has taught me, I don't want to sit still and, do nothing. So anyways, I sat down and that was in October when I did that driveway. And here in Canada, obviously, like, northern states, I mean, we're done by, if you're lucky to be going November 1st, right? So I just sat down and I started researching. And one of the first videos that popped up was your make $100 an hour video. Yeah. And that's pretty cool. $100. I can see that just because of that one that I did. So I watched it, found another one of your videos. I watched that, found another one. And then I just start all winter long. I started researching it. Right. And so COVID hit in March, and I was teaching from home online, and I had lots of time on my hands because I didn't have to
almost 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago. Yeah. And so, late April, May rolled around, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna get this going. And my wife says, what are you doing? What are you gonna do? You're like, Sealcoat what? And so yeah, I'm going out. So I had, like you, I did the 5-gallon buckets, the 20-liter buckets, right? And I had 5 of them. And I found a place where I could get sealer. Luckily, we have a depot in Hamilton here, so that made it even super easy. And I went down and filled up my 5 buckets, and I put my ads on Kijiji, and I got a couple calls. Like, okay, I'm going out, right? And did a few in my neighborhood, and then somebody put me onto Facebook and Marketplace. And so I put my ads on Marketplace, and I signed up to every single community group that I could in the area, from 5 miles away to 10, 20 miles away, and my phone went crazy. Bing, 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 and I had about 5 pictures. I had about 5 pictures of driveways that I did, and that's all I'd posted. And so every time I got a driveway, I posted another driveway. And I posted the edge work, and I posted I didn't have anything great, spectacular, but people were, and then, so, and every time I'd go out, I'd talk to customers, I'd talk to people just like, and it's funny, I would say I'm a teacher, and it's like, oh, okay, you're a teacher. And so I'd spent time, and so I kind of built that customer relations with people. And people started to refer me to others. And so, like, I'll give you one example from last year. I got a message on Facebook to do a driveway. I went down and did it. The neighbor across the street came over, and he wanted me to do his. And I got a picture before and after. My son's bending over. He's the one helping me in that one. So I had a before and after cut. And he said, and the guy says, I got a bunch of buddies at work, and I like your work, and I'm gonna get you some business. So from that one guy, I made, from a string of contacts, about $12,000, just for one person, and just in talking, and spending my time, and just shooting the shit and just being real with people, right? And listening to who they are, because that's what I've done my whole life. I've listened to kids, I've listened to parents, right? And so when you're real and you're talking and taking the time to help and educate people, people like that and they remember you. And then, so that's kind of, and I've just been obsessed. I've been obsessed with it for 2 years.
What's the number one challenge that you've had in the business? The number one challenge?
At the very beginning, where to get equipment, where to find this stuff. I had no idea. I didn't know about Asphalt Kingdom at that time. I didn't know about Action Seal. To find places online that do a Google search to find equipment, it's like I didn't know where to go. So for a better part of that half a year in the first summer, I spent it dealing with pails in a 3.5 by 5 foot trailer. And so, with a show like this, where somebody can reach out and say, we've got all these things in place. We can help you get started right away. That would have been for me a little more helpful. It didn't take me long, but I would have got, if I had a 230 sprayer right off the hop, I would have doubled my money, easy.
I remember when you picked that 230 sprayer up. I remember it, and I was like, yes, now he's in. Now there's no turning back anymore. Black Max is gonna grow, and other things are gonna grow. I know we've had a lot of conversations about scaling too, and so what advice would you have to somebody who's on here right now that may be considering starting in the business, but they might be on the fence, or let's think about somebody who's on the fence. That'd be my first one, and then the second one would be somebody who is made the decision to start. What would be the number one piece of advice?
So for that person that's on the fence, go for it. You don't have to start with a huge budget. You can get into it for very cheap. If you want to do it slowly, you can do it any way you want, right? You can do it with your buckets if you want to. You can get a 130 sprayer that doesn't cost that much. It depends on what you have and what's available to you, what kind of financial resources you have. But you can start small, right? You work from a tote. They're cheap, $150, $200 for a tote. Put a pump on it, right? So, but yeah, just get started and start. Use Facebook, community groups, marketplace. Put a couple nice ads on there, a few pictures, and go for it. It doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take much. And
Somebody's decided.
For the person that's starting out, one, I think, be meticulous, right? Like every single job you do, you pay attention to every single edge you do, every cutting you do, because people notice that. If you have to start off taping edges at the very beginning, people notice that too. Wow, he tapes it, and that's most people are going to start. If they're going to start small, they're going to start with residential stuff. And so people want their properties taken care of, and they want to see people that come out and they're taking care of it like you take care of your home, right? And they respect that. And that old adage, whatever it is, you do a good job, they'll tell 10 people. You do a lousy job, they'll tell 100, right? And that's those 10 people multiplied very fast, right? And I think that was my success was just, I'm not meticulous about anything in my life except for this. I really am.
What's in store? And by the way, that advice right there about being meticulous and precision like with your lines and making sure that the jobs are clean, making sure dirt's cleaned up at the end of driveways, proper tension ribbons that aren't just thrown on sticks but properly wrapped and nicely and clean, and not just leaving that stuff to blow away in the wind afterwards. And being a pro about it. I couldn't agree more, Rob. It's so important. What is in store for Black Max for 2022, and what's in store with Mr. Rob McKenzie?
Well, so I'm growing the commercial part. So I've spent part of the winter reaching out to churches, funeral homes, golf courses, putting out my 20, 30 emails to each place, each of those groups, trying to build that. I've got one already, and I've got some more that are going to be coming as soon as the weather gets going on, right? So that, and I got a ton of repeat business that people are calling about, so that's good.
Yeah.
I guess, from just teaching for years, I love helping people. I love helping people get into this. Just, teaching them the little bit that I know, and there's all kinds of you out there that know so much more than I do, or more mechanically inclined. But just to provide that energy to somebody else and help them with their situation. It's like, I got a buddy of mine that's a truck driver, and he's making $20 an hour, and he wants to get out of it. So I've been helping him get into it. So he's going to start next year. And
Awesome.
And he's been working with me. So, just work with me a little bit. I'll show you how things go, and then we'll take it from there. And so, teaching that aspect of it, and people, we talked about it a little bit earlier this morning, and it's young people and old people that are close to retirement and they're good health. This is a great job. So you're not sitting around and doing nothing after you retire. But for young people, right?
Yes.
A lot of kids don't want to get into the trades. They don't want to do this kind of work, and to teach them, to tell them that it doesn't have to be incredibly dirty work. You can build a financial future for this so quickly, right? If you want to go to school, get a good, but use those assets that you've learned in school and take it into the trades, because we're so sorely missing young people into the trades. Customers that I have all the time, they can't hold on to young people because they want something that is meaningful, right? They want meaningful work. And what's more meaningful than having your own business and taking care of someone's assets, and right? So
man, I couldn't agree more. And the pendulum is swinging. People are starting to the photos on the fluorescent green Lamborghinis with chicks dressed up in makeup and all that stuff, with big wads of cash in the hand. People are realizing it's a bunch of crap. Yeah. It's phony. It's this cyberspace of junk. And what's not junk is when you go knock on that first door and you actually are able to provide a problem-solving service, deliver the value, make somebody smile, you smile, and you get the money in your hand, and you're on your way to climbing that mountain of building your own business. And that to me is, that to me is for anybody here who is, considering the service-based business world. I mean, I know Adam Chapman's on here right now. Adam's 26 years old, and look at what he's built with PadPal, and look at the Pay It Forward and the Lighthouse movement that he's on to help people. And he's done that, and he's built an incredible life for himself, and he continues to. And he's down here actually in Anguilla right now with me. But look what he's done. And he's in a service-based business. He leaves the office clean and he comes back dirty, and he's excited about it.
Yeah. That's what I think I mentioned earlier. So he's got it all figured out. He's young. He's got his own business, successful. and he's got energy to boot, and he does fantastic social media, which I want to learn more from him to do that.
Yeah, for sure. He's actually posting right now. By the way, Adam, check your Facebook Messenger. There's a link I sent you. I'm going to try and get you on. If you wouldn't mind popping on, that would be fun. Listen, I'm so appreciative, Rob, of you being here, and we're going to go into a Q&A now. Do you want to stick around for that a bit, or? Yeah,
absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
So if my team, I don't know if Johnny's still here, but I'd love him if he is. Great. He is here. Awesome. And I think we'll try and get Adam in here too. And so everybody, we're going to stick around. We're not going to be here for too long, but we'll stick around for around 10 or 15 minutes. And guys, if you have to go, don't be shy, just rock and roll and say toodaloo. But we appreciate you guys being here, man. Let's go ahead with any questions. And please, if you have a question for a specific person, please address their first name and then the question. That would be very, very helpful. My team can post questions here in the meantime until we have any specific. We've got a question in from Paul. Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm looking to start a seal coating business and a striping business, but I was wondering, how do you know exactly how much seal coat and paint you will need? Is there a math formula? Good question. Yeah, so the quantity, the actual supply and quantity. Certainly there are calculators, material calculators out there. Johnny, how do you determine how much sealer you need for a project? I think you might be muted. I think you're muted on your thing.
Yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, how much sealer? So
So we go up to a job and you're checking out. It's all based off your square footage, and most of the time, like all the material I buy, it tells you how much it's going to cover per square footage. So the sealer is really easy. And actually, I still use the Asphalt Kingdom paint calculator. I don't even have it saved on my phone, but if you just go on Google and you type in Asphalt Kingdom paint calculator, it's the first link. And then you can just click on it. And then if you got like 1,526 feet of lines, it'll tell you how many gallons. I buy everything in bulk, because with any business, when you buy in bulk, you get it cheaper. And so that's when I see, like, let's say it said 2.2 gallons, then that's what I'm basing my charge off for my estimate going in. But Asphalt Kingdom paint calculator.
That's great. Thank you so much. There's a question in from Ryan to me that says, Judd, how can you get seal coat shipped in the winter without it freezing? First shipment was frozen before arriving. Yeah, that's not good. Generally, with the seal coat, if it's shipping during freezing months, we would ship that heated. There is an additional charge to ship heated with heated transport, but the key is to once you receive the material, you want to make sure to move it into a heated environment right away. You don't want any freeze time. Paul, thanks you very much, Johnny, for that answer. Let's go with more questions. Post away. We've got. I will be starting this spring. I really like the AS230 unit. Do you think this will be a good choice? I know you have the AS230 unit, Rob. Do you have any information on that? Any feedback on it?
It's reliable, very reliable machine. You're holding 230 gallons, or I get like 800 liters out of it. So you're probably covering about 10,000 to 20,000 square feet, depending on your spraying or your brushing, right? I brush it, so I'd use up a little bit more. It's super easy to use. The Honda engine it's a nice engine. And I mean, they're just, I just think it's a nice, reliable unit, right? Nice, reliable unit.
Johnny, remind me, you have a 230 Pro as well?
I have the AK330.
You have the 330,
right? Yeah, it doesn't have the agitator. Yeah, I have the 330, I think.
Yeah.
Does the 330 have the agitator?
230 does not. It has the agitation through recirculation.
Okay, yeah. So I have the 230 then as well. I love it. The only issue it ever has is you got to clean the filter out. Maybe if I do I do trailer parks with it, like 80,000 foot trailer parks with my 230. And so you don't have to do it a lot, but the only issue you ever have with it is stop, clean out the filter, put back in, and you're back to spraying. Maybe, twice in a 80,000 foot job. It's a great machine. I love it.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think I've cleaned that filter out once, twice, maybe, and I've never really had a problem. But yeah.
I figured out too. It's like when you're sucking it up off the bottom, you want to be real careful with not getting any solids in there. You learn a lot. You learn a lot quickly.
Yeah, if you can get that stirred up once a day, it's fantastic. You don't let it settle.
Yeah, the interesting thing is as that tank, one of the pieces of advice is when sealer's in your tank and it happens to dry up and flake on the top a little bit and the sediment falls into the tank, that's when a lot of the time you'll end up with a lot of filter clogging. So one thing you want to do is you definitely want to empty out that tank and just use a wire brush inside the top lid to scrape the inside of that tank to get all that sediment. And then what I generally do is a water flush, recirculate it heavily, and then remove that water that's contaminated, so to speak. And I use that same water as dilution water for material in the future. So you don't have to waste that water, or dump it anywhere, right? The key is to not dump any wastewater ever, to try and reuse it, recycle it.
Yeah.
Adam Chapman, if you're on, I sent you a Facebook link in your messenger. Check it, please. All right, next question, please. Let's keep them coming. And guys, we'll be on here for another 10 minutes here. So fire away with the questions. All right. So Wallace Swimmer says the line striping side interest is interesting to me too. Judd is promoted by Billy Davidson. Yeah, I don't know do you guys know Billy Davidson? Billy Davidson, you haven't seen him? He's awesome, man. He's on Facebook. Billy Davidson's like a striping king. He's also in the pressure washing business. I know that Adam definitely knows Billy, but because they're in the service-based business. You see Adam at PadPal, he does like pressure washing, gutter cleaning, he does Christmas lights, he does lawn aeration, he does seal coating as well. So it's pretty cool to see how they've moved in the direct, the mindset is, well, hey, listen, if we seal coated a driveway, then there's opportunity to monetize additionally and just be that one-stop shop, which is pretty cool. Some people want to stay in their niche and within the river walls. Some people want to go outside of that. He's grown a pretty awesome company over the last 3 years. I believe it's his third year in business. And they're rocking and rolling. Christmas lights, by the way, huge moneymaker, like huge moneymaker. I couldn't believe it. I'll have to share this with you guys or get Adam on a call with you guys. It's unbelievable what he was able to do in 6 weeks, like 100 and something thousand in 6 weeks. It was wild. So, okay, wild, right? Okay, here we go. Let's go into, somebody asked where I'm originally from. I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. My wife's from Houma, Louisiana, down the bayou. We eat a lot of crawfish when we go there for sure, and a lot of Cajun food. We'll just say that I usually come back a little more plump. But yeah, when I'm up in Montreal, I'm usually doing the poutine, the French fries, the curd cheese, and the gravy. Rob, you know what that is, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Johnny, do you know what poutine is?
Yeah, so I grew up in northeast Montana, like 10 miles from the Canadian border. So, yeah. I still remember the first time Mom bought me some of that. I was like, no, but it was really good. Yeah.
You almost have dual
awesome.
citizenship.
I know, it's pretty close. Yeah, 10 miles.
I'll say one other thing about the big keys to success. And I mean, I didn't think about this until a little bit when I got started, but I don't know how many guys do this, but network with other seal coaters in your area, talk to them. don't look at them as competition. Look at them as partners, as friends, because you might have a guy that's been around for years and doing huge jobs, and you're doing small ones, and he doesn't have time to do the small ones. You network, and he passes them off to you, and you get the big ones. You get the big ones. I don't have to do the big one, so you broker a deal with him and take your 10-20%.
I'm walking downstairs because I think Adam Chapman's at my door. That's awesome. Yeah, it's so true. The networking is such an important thing. Hold on, let me see if we can get Adam in here. Is he here? Adam. Oh, he said he was at my door. I guess not. That's awesome. Cool. Well, listen, we've got Greg Francis on here too, Sealcoating His Life, which is awesome. Greg Francis is an awesome guy. I don't know if you guys know.
Great.
Do you have him here? It was awesome. He came sliding in the door. The floor was wet, and we almost had an accident live on camera here. That's pretty awesome. Come on up, bud. By the way, just as a side note, our marketing team that's working behind the scenes here for the webinar and stuff, there's a big power outage at the person who is managing it. We were having some glitches through, but you know what? What's the imperfection? What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Check this out. Guys, look who we have live right here. We have Mr. Adam Chapman. You get a t-shirt and everything. Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff. This is Rob McKenzie, Johnny Bublich right here.
Both had some really good tips for both sort of levels for people starting and people trying to scale it.
Yeah, it's been incredible to watch these guys scale, man, and really, really exciting. Well, listen, what would be your number one piece of advice to somebody going into year number two?
Going to your number two?
Yeah.
I'd say definitely building your brand. Like at the beginning, first year, I think the big thing for a lot of people is making sure you get that money, like getting your jobs and just crushing jobs. I believe, so I'd say, like getting your brand built up, because that will pay dividends. And it's not even the second year you see that. I'd say by like year 3 or 4, like having a Google My Business profile. And you touched on it earlier, like building your brand up. Because then you have to you can start turning down your ad spend and seeing the phone ring off the hooks. Kind of touching on both what you guys said there in terms of like building your brand and then doing good jobs. Both those kind of go hand in hand, and then having a good Google My Business profile is huge.
So one of the things that I want to touch on, and I think it's really important, is as we're scaling, the time that we have in our day is so limited, right? We only have a certain amount of time, not just in our day, in our life too. And we want to make the most out of that. And so, picking and choosing the jobs that actually are going to have the most impact on your future is going to be key. And it's a sensitive one, because do you turn down a job that's a $250 job to do a $10,000 job? But that $250 job could be Sally up the street that, that she might be, a lady that needs some help getting her driveway done. Are you going to turn that down to go do that $10,000 or $15,000 job? And it's where you need to draw that line or the boundary relating to your business. Are you in business to truly help every single person that you possibly can? Or are you in business to actually help as many people that you possibly can, but yielding the best return for your money? I'd be interested in your guys' perspective on that. Rob, starting with you.
I think it comes to that networking and knowing the people that are doing the same kind of work as you in your area, that are smaller or that are bigger, right? Networked with those people. And it's like, if I'm growing my business and I've got somebody that's just starting out and they've got Sally's driveway down the road and I can't get to it because I've got something else, I'm going to give it to them, right? And sure enough, that's going to come back to benefit you as well, right? It's not about competition. It's about working together. That's my thing. And I reach out to seal coaters all the time just to say, hey, great job. I love what you're doing.
I love the answer. Johnny, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, depends on how
Johnny,
much
would you
you're getting
agree?
out of each day. Yeah, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Okay. So it just depends, I guess, on how much you're getting out of each day, you know? Like I tend to like to work like 14-hour days. And so I can schedule in a lot of those smaller, quick jobs on my downtime. But I'm just real with my clients. So if someone comes at me with like a $200 driveway, I say, hey, you know, I'm gonna get with you as quick as I can. But there's always like a Thursday afternoon where you don't have anything going on. So like, what are you gonna do? Catch up on Netflix? Or are you gonna go make that $300? So I just say there's no excuse. There's time. I do trailer courts, and then the day after I'll go knock out a $200 driveway. You know, so it's like the effort you put in is the money you're gonna get back. So schedule the big jobs first, for sure, but just be nice to your clients. Explain to them I'll get to you when I can. There's always downtime.
Yeah, another pro tip on both of those, I'd say, is if it's ever like a smaller job or something that's not as high priority for you, is collecting even a 10% deposit, because just that little bit of extra commitment will keep that job in the back of your pipeline that you can get to, like you said, when you have a bit more free time. And collecting that 10% deposit, even if it's a $200 job, $20, they're less likely to go try to find someone else to do it tomorrow. They're still going to keep that commitment with you. So that's something we do with lights as well, and asphalt.
Good advice.
Yeah,
Good advice.
Yeah.
There's a question in from Goose Bradford here. What is the minimum crack width to pour? Somewhere along the way, you should be able to bypass the smaller cracks and address them in the spring or early summer. Anybody want to take a crack at that one?
Well, the only thing I'll say on that, I guess, is like I got hired by three different cities to do their annual crack repair. And that's like was the coolest thing that happened to me. But like I call artificial cracks. I don't fill artificial cracks because it's not fair to them to just burn up rubber. But it's not necessarily just about width, it's about depth too. You know, you might have one that's not very wide, but it's this weird crack that's real deep, and yeah, you should fill that, you know. But if it's just these tiny little surface cracks, like, you know, drive out, they gave me my budget, they told me the blocks they wanted, they said we decided on how many feet. I just went and walked out all those streets and drove them out, and it's like, okay, well, I don't want to fill these ones, and I want to fill these ones.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Pennegy, the Deary max width is 1.5 inches. You know, there's a lot of people say a 1/2 inch, a lot of people say 1 inch, a lot of people say 1.5 inches, a lot of people say 2 inch. The spec of the product, like the actual manufacturer will say what it is. And if you stay within that range by 25%, you know, if the crack is wider, you know, and you know that it shouldn't be filled with crack filler and it really needs mastic, or it needs to be, you know, it needs to be repaired through heat, through an infrared machine, etc. If you know that, but you're building the expectations and clearly building those expectations with your customers, and you might need to go over that crack 2 or 3 times with hot rubber to make sure it's done, and that you're clearly building those expectations and being honest with them that you don't have a mastic machine, but it's better than not filling it at all, and that you explain that. If you're honest with people and you lay it out and you build the expectations, what you'll find is you'll build lifelong customers that will come back for a lifetime. That's the key. Don't bullshit people. Don't give them a bunch of shit that is right. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can only do what you can do. You know, there's some big money jobs that I've turned down to where it's just like, you know, you got to know thyself. You know, and I got called in to do this county job, and it's just, you know, you just need to know when to hold them, when to fold them. You know,
People love that honesty, right? Because everyone's been burned in the past by somebody that hasn't been honest. And when somebody comes along, and especially in this industry, and I'm glad it's changing, the culture of it's changing, but it's you know, it's slow and it's gradual. But when people come along and they're honest with you, they remember.
100%. There's a question that just came in. How do you seal coat businesses that are open 24/7 with steady traffic so it does not disturb business flow like Tim Hortons or McDonald's? Anybody have any experience there?
I did Tim Hortons. We did Tim Hortons before.
So how did you deal with it?
So what we did for the Tim Hortons, yeah, it was open. It was 24/7 Tim Hortons, but what we did was like the owner just kind of picked a day where it's the least busy. And then we went in and just did it all. Like one night, did all the sealing. We finished at like 4 a.m. So we were like kind of like cautious if it was going to dry. We had the blowers going, trying to dry it a little bit extra if that even helps, or if it's just like mental, I guess, at that point. But the next day people rolled through, there's no issues. And then we scheduled the line painting for the same time the following week. So it was like a few days with that, or I guess it was like 3 days later, I guess we did the line painting. And as you guys know, that dries quickly, but yeah, we kind of just had all hands on deck. We had 3 trucks. So we got the job done very quickly. So it had as much time to dry as possible. That is a very like good question. I guess you could also do it in sections, right? Like do a section like where the parking would be. Obviously the parking is not going to be full all night long. And then do the actual drive-through area all in one go as well is another option. We did that for a Harvey's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll want about 50 or 60 orange traffic cones when you start out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do those places is orange traffic cones, and you just shut it down, and you just cone out sections, seal coat it, let dry, do the other sections. I do a lot of really busy, like Napa, gets real busy and stuff like that, and we just traffic cone,
I think the other thing with that too is, again, over communicate, like make sure that you map out what you're going to do, and you can print out a Google Earth image, an aerial view, and you can literally do it if it's possible to do it in phases, do it in phases. A lot of clients have questions around, can I seal coat at night? When we have an article, blog post about seal coating at night, actually we did an interview as well on that. And you should be using additives if you want stuff to cure by morning and stuff to have traffic flow going through. If you're using an asphalt emulsion or coal tar emulsion, you want to use like an FSA, something that's going to release heat in the material to cure it faster. And so there's ways of doing that. But I mean, we did a hotel project here that was 220,000 square feet in 5 days, $170,000 project, and it needed to be broken down into phases. And as long as we were able to clearly communicate up front that there wouldn't be any business interruption, and that we would direct traffic and make sure that it was taken care of professionally, traffic cones, tons of them, tension ribbon, tons of it. But at the end of the day, $170,000 deal closed and walked away after 5 days. We'll just say very happy. And everybody was happy. So yeah, it's a great question. All right. I think that we're going to probably close up shop, guys. I mean, we've been here for an hour and 15 minutes. I can't thank you all enough for being here, and thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming after I'd sent you that private message.
Yeah, I don't use one of my team uses Facebook. So
got it. So, and Johnny, I'm super excited to hear how you're going to crush it this year. Rob, always great to speak with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you just crush it there too. Last word of advice to anybody out there, that's thinking about doing this thing. What's the last piece of advice, Johnny?
Limit your spending on life when you go out on your own. It's like the summer paychecks are huge, and it's like there's all this money coming in, and it's like, because I was able to be smart with my money, my goal is I don't want to have to be outside working in the winter anymore. So cut back on your spending. Don't go out to eat so much and all that, and just remember, because you're not going to have this income coming in December and January and February. So, learn how to eat home more. Learn, get rid of cable. Just do your online streaming. It's cheaper. Don't live like a king, and then you really will. That'd be my biggest.
Mm-hmm.
I love that advice. Rob, what's your advice, man?
I would say build your customer relations, build great rapport with people, network and market yourself, right? And reach out to the people that are there to help you that they want to see you succeed because they're genuine good people, right? Like you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's great advice. And yeah, we're definitely, I you know, just showing what we're doing here is this is huge. Pay it forward. This doesn't go on in many industries, period, like what we're doing right now. And that's huge, to have people that are just around being warm and friendly and truly caring about people. That's something that's pretty magical. And so, I mean, that's why we're friends, guys. That's why we're friends. Adam, last piece of advice.
First day starting out, someone that's just starting, the worst someone's ever going to say to you is no, right? That's kind of my mentality when I was starting. It's like, walk up, ask a business, ask a door. Like, the worst someone's going to say is no. And the thing is like, after that interaction, they say no to you, like, your life carries on, their life carries on. Like, they don't go tell all their friends that they said no. So like ask for shit you want in life and in your business. The worst someone could possibly say to you is no. And then you're in the exact same position you were before you asked.
It's why we're all here right now. This is why we're actually all here live on camera, and why anybody who's watching this replay is here right now, because you're exploring what it's like to maybe have somebody say no, but there's going to be lots that will say yes. Trust me.
Be a pelican.
Right? Be a pelican. Soar high and keep shooting for those fish, man. There's lots of fish. It was a post. Actually, it was actually Adam who spoke about it, and then I did a live about the pelican. You'll have to go to my Facebook page if you're interested in learning more about the pelican. Analogy. Hey guys, thank you so much. Keep in touch. Johnny, Rob, Adam, you guys are brilliant human beings. Appreciate you guys, man, and look forward to crushing it with all of you in 2022. Let's do this.
Thanks for the opportunity, Judd. Love you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
See you. Peace.